Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet, and thanks for tuning in to one of Sid's bite-sized reviews. In this bite-sized review, we're going to be taking a brief but detailed look at the Transformers X-Men crossover Ultimate X-Spanse X-Jet. So as we always do here, let's go ahead and move him out of the way, and we'll take a look at that packaging and bring that in so you guys can see that. So, right on the front, you have X-Men Ultimate X-Spanse, Transformers. On the side, you have some good artwork of X-Spanse himself. On the back, you have some product shots, and you have all your warnings, and you do have the sad baby. On the other side, you have Wolverine and Sabretooth. Up top, you have X-Men Ultimate X-Spanse with the nice logo. Down here, you have the packaging and manufacturing information. And that is it for the outside of the packaging. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right into that jet mode and take a look at what this guy has to offer. And here we have Ultimate X-Spanse in his jet mode. And I just want to say real quick before we go any further, guys, that I'm not going to be doing transformation in the bite-size reviews. Transformation just takes up such a large part of the review. So if you guys are here for the transformation and you want to see how to get this guy to robot mode or back to jet mode from robot mode, click the link in the description below and it will take you to the full review for this guy. But here you're not going to find it. We're trying to keep these reviews, the bite-size reviews, short and sweet. So let's go ahead and bring him in and take a look at these details in this jet mode. And this is based on a Lockheed Martin SR-71 Blackbird. And I think they've captured it really well here. Now you do have the X-Men cockpit right there, and you've got some nice panel lines going down the side. Nice yellow intakes. You do have the X-Men X right there on the winglets. And nice detail right there. And you do have some good detail here in the back. And then over on this side, of course. And he is a big boy in jet mode. We'll bring in the handy ruler here just to see. So he is over 12 inches long, maybe almost 13 inches. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the top. And here's the underside where all the robot kibble is. Now, real quick, I don't know if this is actual official weapon storage. It wasn't listed anywhere in the instructions, but I did discover that you do have ports under here where you can store some of those accessories if you choose to. All right, and there he is from the front. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is we will go ahead and we'll bring in some comparisons for the alt mode. All right, so for vehicle mode comparison, let's go ahead and get started here. And the first comparison that we have is the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Jetfire, and this is a big boy. This was when leader class figures were truly leader class figures. So there is a lot of plastic right here. But you can see X-Spanse next to leader class Jetfire. Let's go ahead and get that on out of the way. We'll bring in the next comparison. And the next one that we have here is the Studio Series 35 Jetfire. And now these two share components, particularly right here in the middle. A lot of these components are shared. The design is different, the transformation is different, and the engineering is different. But because they're both based on the SR-71 Blackbird by Lockheed Martin, Hasbro was able to use some of these shared components, particularly for the rear of the fuselage and the main body of the aircraft. So you can see how these two stack up against one another, and they are similarly sized. All right, let's get him on out of the way. Bring in the next comparison. So I figured that since we brought in a couple of Jetfires, why not bring in good old G1 Jetfire so we can see how those two look together. Now this G1 Jetfire is well over 30 years old, and he's a little aged and weathered and well loved, so please forgive his appearance. He's had a very well loved, well played with life. All right, and the next comparison that we will bring in is one of the other Transformers crossovers. So this is the Transformers Ghostbusters crossover, and this is the Ectotron Ecto 1. So you can see how those two look together. And this one I prefer to keep in his vehicle mode. I think his robot mode is weak, so this alt mode is definitely his strong point. Whereas with X-Spanse, although the alt mode looks really nice, I actually prefer him in the robot mode. I think he has a much better presence in robot mode than he does in his jet mode. All right, let's move that on out of the way. And the last comparison that we have is my universal scale. We will bring in the leader class Optimus Prime from Transformers Earthrise and Transformers Kingdom. So you can see how he scales there. And looking at this, it just occurred to me that that X-Spanse would probably scale really well with the core class Optimus Prime. Okay, so that's it for comparisons. So what we'll do now is we'll get Optimus out of the way, and then we will talk about Ultimate X-Spanse, his details, his articulation, and his accessories. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at those accessories and bring X-Spanse in for his close-up. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the two little guys. You do get a small saber tooth, which I think is sculpted really well. Paint apps aren't too bad either for something that size. You get a small Wolverine, who I think between the two is the weaker of the two figures. I think Sabretooth came out better than Wolverine. But overall, not too bad for something that size. You get the psionic telepathic controller thing I think that Psylocke used. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I have that wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And on the box, it goes on the characters. You just put them on the characters like this. And it doesn't stay on the best, but it goes around their waist like that on the box. So I assume that's what that is. All right, and then let's talk about those other two accessories real quick. You do get the Psylocke version telepathic energy Wolverine claws, which came out looking really, really nice. You got the bone on the top, and then you have the blades on the bottom. And then you have the telekinetic sword. Again, looks really cool. And these ports are compatible with regular effects as well. So if you wanted to use something from Siege or Earthrise or Kingdom, you could. And the effects just plug right in there. All right, and then as far as the close-up, you've got the head sculpt there. You have that chest, good molded in detail all the way around. Turn him to his side. You can see what's going on there. You do have a number of little X's everywhere. It's almost a game to find the X's on this guy because you've got an X on the head, you have an X in the knee, you have an X right down there. You've got X's all over this guy, so you can just make a game out of it. And then there you have the back, where there's a whole lot of airplane going on back there, but overall I think it comes together pretty well. All right, and articulation. His head can go up and down. It can go side to side a little bit, can go around. Shoulders can go full 360. They can come up that far. You do have a pretty good elbow bend. You have bicep rotation. Get those arms out of the way. You do have waist rotation. You have really good splits. So this guy can do a great job for you there on the splits. And he can kick forward that far. He can kick backward about that far. And then he does have a double jointed knee. So he's got those two joints there. That will get you, between the two of them, will get you right at 90. Maybe just over. And then down here at the feet, you do have a little bit of tilt, and you can move that thruster around to help you, which is helpful because of the lack of the heel spur. And then the toe moves up that far, moves down that far. All right, so that is it for the accessories, details, and articulation. Let's just get him stood back up, and we will move on. All right. And for those who are interested, he is just over 10 inches tall. All right, let's go ahead and move on to robot mode comparisons. All right, everybody. So for robot mode comparison, here we have Ultimate X-Spanse next to the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Jetfire. Let's move him on out of the way. Get him off to the side a little bit. And let's bring in the Studio Series 35 Jetfire. Let's bring in the G1 Jetfire. We'll bring in the other crossover Ecto-1 Ectotron. And the final comparison, we will bring in the Transformers Earthrise and Kingdom Optimus Prime Leader. Yeah, so final thoughts here on the Ultimate X-Spanse figure. I think this is a good figure. I enjoy it. I think he has a good build quality. All of the joints and everything is nice and tight on mine. I don't have any QC issues on my copy. I think he has a good shelf presence, and that blue and yellow just really pop. He comes with good accessories. Now, of course, the downsides, he does have difficulty posing. It would have been nice to have some heel spurs on this guy, but to counteract the weight of that backpack. And those winglets are going to pop off on you during transformation and sometimes even during posing. But overall, I think this guy is worth the retail price. I don't think he's worth more than retail. But I do know that if you could pick him up for retail or even less, then I think he would be a good addition to your collection. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us some comments, and tune in for the next one. Thanks, guys.